Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the Marina Bay Street Circuit here in Singapore, where we bring you the Tier 2 Grand Prix. Now, some of you will have noted some water droplets dropping from the skies. Yes, that is right, it is the joys of some rain here in Singapore. Not seen often, but seen sometimes. 5.063 kilometre circuit here in the Singapore circuit. 61 racing laps in total. We'll have, I think, about 31. There is a race distance of about 154 kilometres. The lap record set 141.9. Kevin Magnussen back in the Haas in 2018. Who knew a Haas could go that quick? But we have rain. Now, the interesting thing, before we go into a bit more detail, the very interesting thing would be, is this going to continue for the race, or is this just on qualifying? That is the key here. Marina Bay Circuit arrived on the scene in 2008. It is a spectacular backdrop. I mean, when we look at some of the others of the Jeddahs of this world and Baku, it was iconic back in 2008. It was unfortunate that race was ruined by some cheating, but it was very quickly established itself as one of the standouts on the F1 calendar. I mean, let's put it this way: it was the very first night race in F1 history, the Grand Prix, which was the 15th round of the season. Did prove a huge hit with the teams and the drivers, and I think, we've got a Red Bull just coming out. We've got a Red Bull, it's the Fox. We were just on board with him, so he is going to be the first driver. Oh, actually, we've got an Alfa Romeo just in front as well. But as we jump on board, we've got some drivers having some connection issues here. Call me the brave, in and out more times. Oh, look at that! The Fox already getting a little bit slippery out there. He's on the intermediates. Now, tell you one thing, I'm not convinced if the inters is going to be the right thing. Now, it could well be. We will find out as we go. Now, it's one of the most demanding, physically demanding tracks, but mentally as well. It's a bumpy street surface. It's coupled with those humid conditions. 23 corners. You don't really have a lot of opportunity to actually think or breathe. Yes, there's a couple of long straights, but you are constantly aware of, if you go in too deep, you are going into those concrete walls, and if you go into them too deep, you've had it ultimately. Again, like turn 18, which sees the drivers pass underneath a grandstand, superb. I'm going to get rid of the tyres just because we don't want to look at the tyres, to be perfectly honest right now. We just want to see how the track conditions are going. A forecast for the race is damp, getting wetter, says the weather forecaster, Martina. Martina, thank you for that, the Formula 1 weather presenter there, Martina. Am I in game chat? I should be. Hoping people can hear me. People can hear me. Yes, people can hear me. Only because I can hear myself. Yes, people can hear me. But there we are. Yes, I am. Yes, I have live chat on the go as well, Bourbon. Yes, can hear fine. Excellent. I just thought for a minute there I was having issues. But no, I am indeed here. We're on board with, thought you had a chat. I've got no chat at all, mate. None at all. Right, here's Vanstorp. He's in a triangle. Monster says it's drying up. The race chance of rain increases. Well, there we go. Right, I am going to go on board with the Morgan, who's on his outlap. But actually, let's just join Dumbest Hornet right now as he comes down the Raffles Boulevard. Well, not quite the Raffles Boulevard, but it's there. Nice long straight now, coming down into where the Esplanade station is. Turn 7 now onto the Nickel Highway. Accelerating up the roundabout turn 8, and you can slip wide here and quite easily hit that wall just on the left hand side. If you are in Singapore and go to your right, there's the Civilian War Memorial. The Singapore Recreation Club is just on the left here, now coming down St Andrews Road. Yes, nice proud Scots name there. Coming down into turn 10, which was the Singapore Sling, next to the Singapore Cricket Club on your left hand side, folks. Turn 11, got to get that right now for that spurt across the Fullerton Road, otherwise known as the Anderson Bridge, now tight into turn 13. We've got a yellow, one of the Ferraris has caused that now onto Esplanade Drive, coming all the way down. Awfully sounding Alfa Romeo there. Just coming over the Esplanade Theatres on the base to the right hand side, coming down into turn 14 now, Raffles Avenue as we do. Obviously the larger Hornet goes purple there. Turn 15, which isn't really a kink. Turn 16 now into 17. You don't want to get too wide on this curb here, otherwise it'll bounce you over into the wall. The Float Marina Bay is to the right hand side, now coming under turn 18, the grandstand, there we go, might not be there much longer. Turn 19, nicely done now. Keep on going straight. The Sport Paddock to the left-hand side. Turn 20 now. Nicely done. There we go. Powering out of turn 21 all the way down. The pit entry just on the left-hand side there. Turn 22 and turn 23. Want to get it right there. And there he goes. Top of the timesheets. 1 minute 57.6. But 154.9 goes the River of the Fox, who has just gone there as well. Let's have a look at the championship leader, Mr. Hodgson, as he comes across the line. What can he do? He goes provisional pole 153.9. And these are when the times are going to start to tumble, folks, ultimately. That is going to be key. On with Toby. Not famed for the Toby Carvery. Let's see what he can do as he comes through turn 22 and turn 23 right now before we come on to more of the Singapore chat. Toby goes up into third place, 2.4 behind. Carl is on a quick lap. Let's just go on board with the hash right now. Calvin, second in the championship, 2.6 behind. Scottish Ninja says, good evening lads, welcome. Oh, and Carl, see, this is the thing, if you're going to get really into the circuit, especially in these types of conditions, you're going to have to watch, you're going to potentially drift wide, and you want to make sure you don't knock a front wing or anything like that. Turn 1, absolutely comfy in the grandstands. Carl's not that comfy just now. Offers a spectacular view as the cars as they come down into that first corner before braking hard and whipping into turns 2 and 3. Great view of the start as well. We will see that tonight. Do not worry in the slightest about that. Let's see what he now does coming down into the Singapore Sling. Nicely done so far. Yes, a little bit kind of wide at times, a little bit kind of maybe not quick, but just getting there bit by bit. Let's see. Stub goes fourth. Morgan, good lap from Morgan there, 2.6. Some good banker laps here. And we're going to see a bit of a spread in the field here as we go through. Let's see what Carl can do now as he comes now down into turn number 14. Nicely done on to Raffles Avenue. Marina Square on the left-hand side, and the Mandarin Oriental just ahead of us there. Carl runs that little bit down. Dumbest Hornet is retired. He's lost it coming out. Oh, surely that is coming out of the final corner. It does indeed look like it's not in the pit lane, but it looks like the Hornet of the brother has slammed himself into the Singapore walls. It wasn't so much as a Singapore Sling, but he has been shot at by Singaporeans. Has cleared. Let's see what Carl can do as he comes now across the line. Turn 22 and into 23. Nicely done there. 157, 158. What's he going to do? 158. Good lap though. Here is Loppy in the Alpine. It is going to be difficult for these drivers. Let's not forget that at all, right? None of this is easy. If you think rain on a circuit like Miami or that is easy, it can be, but actually, Loppy goes 8th. It is a bit more difficult, ultimately. Mark continues his run. Alex has clearly had a bit of a moment there as he comes down, but let's keep an eye on the green Aston Martin now. Purple in sector 2, but he hasn't set a time yet, so that kind of explains that. On board with him now, and you can see the it is quite difficult to get out of the way of drivers as well at the best of times, let alone when we're actually seeing it there. Scottish Ninja is watching in preparation for Tier 4 this week. Nicely done now from Alex. Let's see. Gatian goes third in the Williams. Good lap, 1.9 behind Mark, so that is a 155.8 or so for him. Alex maybe a little bit deep there into turn 20 and 21. Alex is going to bail on his lap though. His teammate Eddie Dust is just coming round turn 1 at the moment. We will keep an eye on him. Doris has a qualifying ban this evening. so he will not be setting a lap time. I think he's definitely got a qualifying ban. We will check that out. Ladies and gentlemen, we pride ourselves on the fact. Let's not be said that we give misleading information. Yes, Alex and Doris get qualifying bans. That's why Alex dived into the pits there. So that explains that. Martin Hill's in the Ferrari, currently on a quick lap. Let's see what he can do now. One of the Mercedes just in front of him as well. That will be Bamstorp. Two Hasses behind, Redcar, Rambo and Carl. Carl will be looking to improve. Ryan will be looking to set a lap. Sociopath 11, 7.9 behind at the moment. Martin coming through turns 22 and 23. Let's see what he can do. Bamstorp goes second, 8/10 of a second behind. Martin upshifts very quickly into it, but goes into 8th position. Carl, does he improve? No, he does not. Eddie Dust is just coming through just now. Ryan improves to 7th. He is my dark horse for the race. I have called it early because that was my decision earlier on today. Right, let's see what Womax can do. No, he's in the pits. Here comes Simba, just coming over the Anderson Bridge just now. Gets a little bit of a twitch there coming now down into that hairpin. Again, if you run too wide, we've got one of the Williams just at the tail end of this straight. Has had a moment, yellow flag. Let's see what Simba can do as he comes down. 7 minutes, 37 seconds to go in this qualifying session. Absolutely critical qualifying round here anyway, by the very nature. It's a street track. Yes, you can overtake, but yes, you can be in trouble as well. Will it rain in the race? That is going to be the fundamental key ask here. Very, very interesting orange helmet there on the Ferrari. Welcome to all 14 watchers. Oh, and again, coming into turn 18 there, and Simba had to watch. Almost, he may have had a moment in the car where he would have went and kind of clenched the buttocks because he was so nearly into the wall there, and that's another place that you can quite easily lose your front wing, lose the wheel as well. He comes across the line and goes 13th. Sociopath did an absolutely cracking second run, up into 3rd place at the moment. Alex is back out again looking to get some time. Let's have a look. Let's just see who's coming to the end of a lap. Let's just bring on board the timings just to see at the moment. Bandstop is obviously running a longer fuel run. Not utilising his ERS, interestingly enough. So obviously not in hot lap mode. He's maybe just warming the tyres up. Toby does go actually into the pit lane. So we'll bring you championship standings and everything in due course. Thomas Fanning has went into 5th place in the Alpine, 1.3 seconds behind Mark there. Nice run for the Alpine at the moment. Rumours abound that he might make an appearance in and he's decided to go late there. And he doesn't validate quite rightly. So Gatian up in 6th place. Fanning may appear in Tier 3. Who knows that? Look, Mr. Mark has gone quick as 153.6. So the times will start to tumble as people get more confident as they go through. But what comes with more confidence? A little bit more cockiness. If you're going to be cocky around here, make sure you actually deliver. That is the fundamental key here. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in the wall and out. End of. Calvin currently coming down. Oh, and he's gone wide. That's going to really kind of impact him again. I said a little bit, but you got to try and not be too overly committed to the corners. You've got to try and just get the front end, brake, turn, and let it go. You don't want to kind of jolt over the curb there on the inside of turn number 17 there. Calvin currently 10th. He's championship rider. Now remember, both of them didn't score in France for a variety of reasons. So, it's all to play for. Still a gap of 23 points. Dennis on it after spinning out at the tail end of the field. Calvin does go in. Here is Simba. He went quicker. Still 3.5 behind though as he goes for his thing. There is Floppy Loppy. He'll be looking to get up the grid to join his teammate. Now we're kind of coming into the final parts of the race at the moment. Carl in 14th at the moment. Alex can't set time. Eddie Dusty's teammate hasn't set a time. Call Me the Brave hasn't set a time either. Doris Day is obviously on. Oh, and Call Me the Brave runs really deep there, coming off the Raffles Boulevard. Gotta watch out, especially in the race conditions. That could severely impact. As we go through, let's just look at some of our key sort of Singapore facts now. Oh, again, Call Me the Brave. And even before we go into time zone, well, he's just decided he's cutting the track because he's clearly just had enough of this particular lap, so we'll avoid that just now. Singapore has changed its time zone 6 times. Well, I think Alex is going to change his tyres about 6 times, and Call Me the Brave probably is going to cut 6 corners. It's currently GMT plus 8, so it's in sync with Malaysia. It's technically still incorrect. It should be GMT plus 7.5 ultimately. Right, let's see what Womack can do in the AlphaTauri at the moment. Nicely done. Yeah, nice done there. Nicely into through 17. Coming into 18 now. Get on the brakes. Nicely done. Sociopath. Look at that. Talk about a psychopath. He's just, he's just created a path right through into provisional pole position there. He is a quick man. Or woman. Or variations thereof. Womack runs a little bit wide there, but is he going to go up into... Yes, he does. 3rd place. Good lap from Womack there. Jake currently in the Red Bull. Let's see where Calvin is. Now, we were talking about championship positions. Calvin needs to get up the field. He's on an out lap at the moment. It does look actually as if it's maybe not raining as much as it was. So I wonder if we're going to see anyone who's going to just try the tries. Well, look who it is. Didn't even realise it, but look who it is. Who has put the soft tyres on just now. The championship leader, Mr. Hodgson, currently in 2nd place, 9/10 of a second behind the sociopath, is, he's put the softs on. I think he is waiting to see, actually, if it does improve. One of the Hasses, that's Cars, went up into 6th place, and Loppy has gone up into 3rd place. So the Inters still have some speed here. The question is, and Mark's going to have to make a decision relatively quickly, because if he's coming out, and he is coming out on the softs, he's not going to get round in time. He's not going to get round in time, because even on the Inters, you need about 1 minute 52. He's just coming out of the pits, absolutely losing it already. But he's not got enough time, so he's purely going to do a test of that particular tyre. Mr. Dak Invertible has entered proceedings. Welcome, Jay. We'll hopefully see you back soon, racing the streets of Singapore and others. Right, let's just keep an eye out on who is what, because the softs are the wrong move. Patobi is currently 1.1 seconds up. That would possibly promote him roughly to about 2nd or 3rd place, depending on actually what happens up front. The track is getting quicker. I think Mark should have come out at least 20 seconds before he actually did, because he's not going to get round in time. If he does, I will eat my iron brew, which I do anyway. I drink it, but let's eat it as well. Right, let's see what Toby is doing, because he's currently 1.1 up. Look at those beautiful purple and aqua lights. Very MRC colours. 47 seconds to go at the moment. Fox River's gone quick. It's 150.4. The times are tumbling. Simba is also on the dry compound tyres. It is dry. You can see it in the track. Toby's quicker at the moment. The problem is for Mark needs to get, he's only got 26 seconds. Carl goes into 2nd place at the moment. Mark's just decided he's just cutting the corners because he wants to get to the end. The problem is he going to miss out with the championship? Challenger Morgan goes quick, it's 149.8. The times are a tumbling, ladies and gentlemen. The times are a tumbling. Mark's not going to make it. He's not going to make it, folks. It has. Stubish was tired as well. He's managed to lose it, but he's not going to have time. He came out too late. And one of the other McLarens, that's Monsters, just ended up in the wall. Tried so hard, go up into 6th place. The championship leader is 11th. He's championship challenger right now. Is 4.5 seconds quicker. Mark is going to find himself towards the back, which is not what he wanted to do either. Calvin's about to be up there. Ryan's up into 4th. Morgan's 3rd. Spanning 2nd. Banstorp's 1st. Calvin has a moment coming through, but takes provisional pole 148.7. Superb. And Cassian with possibly the fastest lap. A sociopath as well. That sounds like a psychopath, because that is genuinely, the times are tumbling. Every single person is setting a quicker lap time at the moment. Carl is quicker. The Fox is retired from the session. let's keep an eye, because there are only so many people that can actually set a time. Martin isn't going to. Womax has lost it as well. Carl, could he potentially get into provisional pole position at the moment? Anything can happen. The two boys who came out on soft stairs were too late. Simply put, 20 seconds too late. Otherwise, I think they could have had it. Let's see what Carl can do as he comes. He's not going to go quickest, but he certainly could improve on his current time. Is he going to go across the line? He does. 5th place for him. Well done. Banstorp is 1.3 seconds quicker. Still not enough. Eddie Dust has just gone into 2nd place. The times are coming and coming and coming. We've never had this much changes at the tail end of a qualifying session, but the track is bone dry pretty much here. Let's see what we have now. Banstorp, Ryan went into 2nd and Banstorp's taking it from him. Ryan, my dark horse for the race, is currently up into 2nd place. Everyone has set their lap times. There we have it, folks. Only what was absolutely superb. Wow, that is what Singapore does. If you get a little bit of rain, that is going to bring it. Banstorp takes pole position. Ryan in 2nd, Sociopath 3rd, and Eddie Duster, I'm going to call him Dyson, is in 4th place. Floppy Loppy and Gatian take out the 3rd row. Calvin in 7th. Not where he would have hoped to have been, but he will take solace from the fact that his championship compadre is down in 4th. Carl in 8th. Fanning, who was at one point right up the top of the field, and Morgan, who was there 9th and 10th. Ryan, I did say you were my dark horse. I told you earlier. You still are. That's a McLaren on your right hand side. Andrew unfortunately had a moment coming out of the final corner here as Sociopath in the Alfa Romeo, but it's going to be interesting nonetheless. Right, Fox River takes 11th place, Monster in 12th, Lumax 13th, championship leader Mark in 14th, Martin in 15th, the other Mark D. Simba in 16th, Dubas Hornet in 17th, Alex couldn't set a time. Call Me the Brave just went deep in every single corner, and Doris Day didn't go for a lap either because of qualified bad. I will tell you one thing, there are a significant amount of very quick people in that bottom 10. And this is going to be interesting. Now, as we go, let's just have a quick look at the championship standings that we have. Drivers' Championship, Mark currently has that, a lead of 23 points back to Calvin. Call Me the Brave in 3rd, and Womax in 4th place. Womax 78 points behind. Chances are he might be out of it by the end of this race. And in the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull currently 24 points ahead of McLaren in 2nd place, who in turn are 16 points clear of AlphaTauri in 3rd. Mercedes a further 19 back from AlphaTauri. Alfa Romeo 41 points in last right now. They need a decent haul of points. Haas look like, with Ryan up in 2nd place, get a decent haul of points there as well. Ferrari kind of languishing, not really doing much, if I'm being honest. Well, we'll get to the tyres shortly. We will. But ultimately, I think we've got to look at some of the facts of Singapore as we go through. Boothie says rain at the end. Oh, this is gonna be tasty. This is gonna be tasty. So there we go. Right, let's have a look just on the tyre situation. There we go. 3 drivers on the mediums and a lot on the hards, primarily because they will be looking at the hards to get them through to whenever the rain's going to come. Talking about water, the tallest indoor waterfall is in the Gardens by the Bay. 35 metres, the Gardens by the Bay waterfall. But if you ever wanted to be in Singapore and you had long hair and you were a man, well, the government, afraid of the hippie culture growing, imposed a ban on long hair for males in the 1970s. So if you had long hair, you were not welcome, ultimately. And Singapore's one of 3 city-states in the world. Singapore, Monaco, and I'll ask the viewers, what is the 3rd city-state? Aside from Monaco, Singapore, there is other. You tell me what it is. Boothie says rain in 10 to 15 minutes. That's going to possibly be lap 10 time. Woo! There we go. So yeah, tell me what the 3rd city-state is. No, Monster, you were close, but no, you're wrong. Nope, Jay, you're also wrong, but good guess. actually, you're not far off. Not far off alphabet-wise. You're very far off geographically. Many, many thousands of miles off, but good shout. What is the other city-state? Singapore and Monaco right now. Andorra. No, 38. I like your thinking, but no, it's not. It isn't a city-state. Good shout though. Closer if you stick to V alphabet. There you go. Actually, last time we were here, I affectionately gave this man that we're looking at, Simba, the nickname the Fishy Lion. Rotherham. Both I think Rotherham and Yorkshire wish. But the Fishy Lion is based upon the mythical creature Merlion, the ambassador of Singapore. It's half lion, it's half fish. The lion comes from the first sighting, and the fish represents the traditional fishing occupation. So yeah, Vietnam, Bergen. Gold star for you, pal. Gold star for you. So yeah, Fishy Lion is in 16th at the moment. There we go. Right, lining up on the grid. Toby in pole position. Ryan in second. Sociopath. No, not Hong Kong J, it's Vietnam. Hong Kong is part of China. Look, can we just look at that? Look at the angle that Ryan is pointing that hat, because we're at 5 red lights here in Singapore, and we are underway. We will be. The lights are off. The cars are away. That's a great start by Toby. Good start from Ryan as well there. Let's see what Ryan can do as he's coming now down into turn 1. He does manage to get through in second place. Sociopath is there. Martin is dropping. He's down to 15th at the moment, but he is gaining. There's a few other drivers, a few other bits of chaos behind us at the moment. Just having a look to see if everybody got through there in a timely manner. They did as well by the looks of things. Everyone has got through. Nobody has been cut loose in the back, apart from Alex slightly. He's obviously had a moment. One of the one of the Mercedes and the Alpha Tauris, the two Alpha Tauris are absolutely all over the back of Call Me the Brave. Right now, championship leader Mark is up into 14th. Martin Hills is 13th. Fishy Lion Part 2, as we'll call him. Monster up in 12th there. Morgan in 11th and the Fox in 10th. So, relatively clean first lap. Alex back on the pack right now. Would I have expected a clean first lap? Possibly not, but they have delivered a clean first start. Ryan currently in second, my dark horse, keep saying it, because he's going to win. Toby currently just pulling a gap slightly, around about 9/10 of a second. He wants to get out of that DRS zone, but he's also going to be thinking about the rain. Now, those medium runners as well could be lucky in terms of choosing the right tyres, but they need to get up the field as well. There's only 3 of them at the moment on the medium tyres. As you can see there, Eddie Dust, Gatian and Doris Day. Gatian and Eddie Dust there. Doris Day as well had her day, down in 15th at the moment. So Toby in the gap to Ryan, now coming down 6/10 of a second. Sociopath is there as well. Eddie Dust is just behind them as well. Loppy in 5th, Calvin in 6th, Banstorp quickest man on the track at the moment, but the gap only 6/10 of a second. So everyone's there. Loppy a little bit more of a gap coming back to Calvin, but that's okay, he can deal with that. The Fishy Lion has passed 17th, Monster has passed Morgan into 11th as well, coming down into turn 1. Sociopath in 3rd there, so it's a Mercedes leading a Haas, leading an Alfa Romeo, leading an Aston Martin, leading a Alpine, leading a Red Bull, leading a Williams. So 7 cars in the top 7 ultimately. Sociopath and Eddie Duster have passed. Well, Eddie Duster's gone up into 30 and ran wide a little bit though as he was coming off the Raffles Boulevard, but look how close that Ryan is getting. Remember, Toby pulled out about a second in that first lap, over the first 3/4 of the lap, but then Ryan just kind of fed him in there. And Ryan is continuing that balance, but Ryan's now got to contend with a medium shod Eddie Dust. We've got a yellow flag, and that is Simba is retired from the session. What has happened to the Ferrari man? He has gone round, and we have a full safety car. The race is neutralised. Something has happened to the Fishy Lion on lap 2 as we were coming through turns number 7, I think it is. Obviously, there maybe something has happened. There maybe has been contact. Who knows? We did not see it on the stream, so we will not make any comments on it just now. But yes, we are here in Singapore. Welcome to everybody. Let's just, if you are interested in joining us and you're watching and thinking, yes, I want to get involved in that action, do go to the YouTube channel. Do check the link to the Discord is there. Races on a Monday night at 7pm and 8:45, Wednesday night 7pm and 8:45, Friday night MRC Triple X action 7:30 kickoff. Tonight Tier 1 will follow us here for Tier 2 and Tiers 3 and 4 on Wednesday ultimately. Sociopath has made some comments in the Discord saying, you gotta be kidding me. Don't know why I sounded American. Rain. All practice on dry wasted. You've got dry now. It's not wasted. You are in 4th position. Doris Day loves Rain, but as the quality band. There we go. Jay Sarge and Chris Bailey having a little tete-a-tete as we go past. So yeah, safety car, in terms of where we are in Singapore, so remember military service is one of the things that's probably conscriptions in the news right now, considering some events in the east of Europe and west of Asia. Military service is mandatory for all men in Singapore for 2 years after finishing high school. And every year servicemen need to return to train till they are 40. So you leave school at 18, you've got 22 years of military service in terms of training, 2 years of full time. 1 in 6 people in Singapore, this is 1 in 6, let's just bear that in mind, 1 in 6 people have assets worth $1 million or more, higher than anyone else in the world, including Monaco. And that puts a lot into perspective, right? It puts a lot into perspective. But the entire economy is fundamentally built on shipping. They have to import pretty much everything from sand to fresh water. But then the state exports a lot as well. So there is a bit of a fine balance there, just in terms of where we are. Home ownership's 92%. 80% of the Singapore population is living in government subsidised houses, but still highest home ownership rate at 92% is still really, really good. There is a night zoo, so if you want to go and see the fishy lion, you can go to the night zoo. Now, let me tell you a bit about just one of the sort of more interesting ones. So every country in the world pretty much has a flag carrier airline. Singapore is no exception. There it is, Singapore Airlines. But actually when we look at the history of Singapore Airlines, we actually see the history of Singapore itself. And that is the key thing, right? Singapore Airlines actually began with the incorporation of the Malayan Airways Limited, MAL, on the 1st of May 1947. And that was actually by the Ocean Steamship Company of Liverpool, the Straits Company of Singapore, and Imperial Airways. Now, Imperial Airways eventually became British Airways through many iterations. But remember, Singapore at that point was really still part of the Commonwealth. The airline's first flight was a charter flight from the British Straits settlement of Singapore to Kuala Lumpur. Twin-engined aircraft was regular weekly flights in 1947. There was obviously expansion and growth in the 40s and the 50s. But then other British Commonwealth Airlines, and BOAC, which was again a forerunner to British Airways, and Qantas Empire Airways, obviously forerunner to Qantas as we know it now, provided the technical assistance as well. But actually, when we start to look at it, because you have the Federation of Malaysia, the airline changed its name to Malaysian Airways from Malayan Airways. And ultimately, then what happened is in 1966, following Singapore's separation from the Federation, the airline's name was then changed again. It was Malaysia Singapore Airlines, MSA, ultimately. So there's rapid expansion as part of that. But actually, MSA ceased operations in 1972, and that's when both Singapore Airlines and Malaysian airline system commenced operations was in place. So again, actually, you get that split ultimately across as more of the Empire States kind of split out off the back of that. We should see safety car in this lap, so we're just going to pause the information gathering on Singapore at the moment as we look to the restart of the safety car, which surely we do need to get the safety car coming in this lap. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you all about Singapore Airlines, well, the remaining parts of Singapore Airlines. Let's see, there it is, safety car is in this lap. Let's look from Banstorp. When is he going to go? Remember, you are not allowed to accelerate quickly, then slam on the brakes and accelerate quickly. Ryan's all over him. Ryan's almost absolutely kind of followed him through. Ryan almost got the better getaway, but both Toby and Ryan out of that final corner. Nicely done there. Toby will be looking to defend for all of his might right now. The Aston Martin of Eddie Dust into third needs to look after that tyre advantage that he's got. He's 4.5 tenths behind, but Ryan just 3 tenths of a second behind there. Womack, Dumbest Hornet and Alex has had a moment. Toby's already very, very quickly got out there. Eddie Dust absolutely flying down the Raffles Boulevard right now, but a quarter of a second separates first to second, and another quarter of a second between second and third right now. Oh, Eddie's got him. Oh, he's got to watch. He was really close to the back of Ryan's Haas there. He's got to watch himself as we go right now, coming now down into the Singapore Sling. Let's see what can happen. Toby leading, Ryan second, Eddie third. Sociopath fourth, Loppy, and then Calvin in 6th place. Remember, 2nd place in the championship, 23 points behind Mark, who's currently in 14th at the moment. It is exceptionally difficult to overtake here. That you have to bear in mind as well. So you might not be fundamentally the quickest car, but you could still be leading and just control the pace. It's worked at other street circuits. It will work again here. So Toby 7 tenths of a second. Eddie Dust is there. Remember the mediums for him at the moment. Doris is on the mediums as well. Got a yellow. One of the Aston Martins, that's Alex, has gone deep. Oh, it's a shame just before the Raffles Avenue. It is a shame for him. Let's just keep an eye on the tyres. It was Gatian who was the other driver. I did think it was a Williams, but there we go. Remember, top 7 cars or 7 different teams. Bansort sits fast of the lap, 145.5. Remember, rain still to come between 10 and 15 minutes in as well. So we're expecting rain at some point in the next 3 or 4 laps potentially. So do stay tuned for that, because I'll tell you, this is going to be one hell of a race towards the end. Remember, DRS doesn't get activated again for 2 laps after the safety car, so commencement of lap 7. Ryan's already all over the back. He's going to try and go up the inside as we come down the Raffles Boulevard. It does not. Kind of just takes a little bit of a sensible move there and doesn't look to kind of go up the inside, but Eddie Dust was watching. Toby just having a little bit of a scrape with the wall by the looks of things there. Eddie Dust on those mediums just beginning to pull away from Sociopath, 8 tenths of a second behind. Remember, no DRS right now. Let's just have a look. Loppy is kind of keeping an eye on. Calvin is there as well. You've got Gatian just behind Fanning in 8th place just now. Carl in 9th and the Fox in 10th, being closely followed by the McLaren there. As I've said though, it's difficult to pass here. It is not easy at all. Now, Toby seems to do really well in the second sector. Ryan just seems to have the leg pace advantage in the third sector. So let's just keep an eye on that. Let's just jump on board with the Haas just now. See what we are doing as we now come down into turn 16 and 17. You don't want Ryan getting on that curve just on the inside of 17 there, where it can just kind of hop you over with the low floor. But Ryan just appears to have a bit more confidence, potentially a little bit more grip than Toby does at this point on Sector 3, because he has closed consistently when they have been able to. Eddie Dust is there, but still around about 3 tenths of a second behind. 6 tenths as we go across the line between Banstorp and Ryan in second place. Calvin's fastest man on track, 145. You're not dead there, 6th place at the moment. Monster has passed the Fox River, who's plummeting down the field because something has happened as he came out of the final corner. Let's just have a quick look. Yes, he has spun coming out of the last corner, turn 23 there. Alex, quickest man, 144.0. Ryan gets DRS as he comes down the Raffles Boulevard, as does Eddie Dust, as does Sociopath. Fox River has retired from the Grand Prix. He has lost it coming through. Oh, no, he's still going. He is still going. He has retired, though, but he is still going. He did move, but we shall see. Let's see. Ryan currently 1.2 seconds, so Toby's built up that little bit of lead. Eddie Dust has DRS behind him right now. Remember, the Fox River has retired, as has Simba, so no safety car for the Fox this retirement. But only a couple of corners before, he had lost it coming out of the final corner, turn 23. The car did seem to move after, so no doubt Stuart will look into that. So Ryan's just beginning to, I don't know whether it's the front end and that Haas that's beginning to give away, maybe just the kind of heat coming off the back, maybe he's playing the clever game of actually just staying back, but he does look as if he's got some front kind of grip issues there. The car maybe not turning in quite as nicely through sector 3 as he would have liked. This is going to allow Eddie Dust all over the back of him though as they come down the Raffles Boulevard. Sociopath in 4th there. Nobody really moving. Let's have a look at position changes. Big Swinner Call Me the Brave up 5 from 19th to 14th. Alex quickest man again, showing how quick he could have actually been had he not had that qualifying ban, had he not had some of the impacts here. Eddie Dust was trying to have a look up the inside of Ryan there, but didn't quite manage it ultimately. Biggest losers, 3 places down is Rumax at the moment. Championship leader still in 13th. Told you, it's not a track where you can easily overtake people. Yes, there's a couple of quite fast sort of speed areas in terms of DRS, you don't, unless you've got a fundamentally much quicker car, a much more grippier exit. It's not going to work. Ryan's doing quite well at the moment. He's only dropped a couple of tenths on this lap to Toby. Oh, and look at that! Eddie Dust got too quick off the corner in that hairpin and spun it around. That, if you are impatient, that is what is going to happen to you. He just got on the power too much, lit up the rears, and Aston Martin went spinning round and round like a record baby. Ryan 1.7 now, he's got Sociopath, so he thought he was okay because Eddie Dust had gone, but all of a sudden he's got a Sociopath behind him in that Alfa Romeo at the moment, and he is absolutely flying. Ryan is just going to be looking, he needs to just kind of get the fronts. Let's just sit on board with Sociopath, let's have a look. Ryan flashing, ERS, not a surprise if I'm being perfectly honest, but let's just see what he can do. Let's see what Sociopath does as well. Opens up the DRS as he comes down the Raffles Boulevard. Let's see how quickly he's gaining. He is gaining, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a late breaking move into the end of the Raffles Boulevard. Loppy in 4th place there, Calvin in 5th. So good points currently getting picked up by the Red Bull, 23-point difference. Monsters had a moment, Carl's had a moment, Carl has spun it. Oh, he's going to watch. Oh, that Haas is now going to feel absolutely horrible. But he has dropped down to 17th, likely to be passed by 18th. That does allow Morgan back into the top 10. But look at this little, well, quadruplet, as I'll say. Eddie Dust is recovered into 8th place. Sociopath is closing down the straight, but won't pass him. Let's see right now. Let's jump on board with the McLaren of Monster. He has Stu just behind him, who's got DRS, who's got Martin behind him. Doris has had a moment, and Martin's got Mark behind him, and then Call Me the Brave. Remember, Call Me the Brave, 3rd in the championship right now, so he is going to be needing to get some points as well. But currently, the gap between Calvin and Mark is going to reduce. Lap 9 out of 31. No sight of rain yet, boys. No sight of rain. Let's see what we can do now. Ryan still in 2nd. Begin to close that gap now. Remember, about a lap and a half, 2 laps ago, that gap was about 1.9 seconds, and it was growing ever steadily. It's now back down to 7/10 of a second. So opportunities where drivers will be absolutely hammering the ERS and utilising it, and then you have to allow the regeneration to come back. Ryan closing 7/10 of a second, so the DRS only really gave him 3/10 of a second down that straight, so it just shows you what kind of, or how close you need to be to the car in front to be able to continue that. Oh, Sociopath nearly had a little bit of a moment with the wall. We've had one safety car already, we had 2 retirements. Eddie Dust and Fanning are having a little bit of a battle. Let's just jump down to them. Eddie Dust as well, he's dropped down to 8/10 of a second behind. Call Me the Brave is looking at Mark. Call Me the Brave third in the championship. One on track in France. But unfortunately committed an act that was against the rules, and so was disqualified. Well-known rules. Keep it clean, no call-outs. That's how we maintain peace and harmony. Doesn't matter who you are, you make it, and there will be consequences. Right, let's just jump back to the Sociopath Ryan battle, because it is pretty much the closest battle that we have on track at the present moment. Keeping an eye out. Ryan's gap to Toby's down to a 10th, and I just wonder, and this is the thing, we're just going to jump on board with Toby. We just want to see, because there's moments where he gains a lot of pace, but then he drops it, and I wonder whether he's just running wide, whether the grip's starting to go. Remember, this is all tactical based upon rain. The rain doesn't come, your tactics, you're just going to have to go with it. But if you built or sort of set up your car to be high on downforce, and yes, you do need that, you're not running 1-0 wings here. But let's keep an eye on Ryan in that Haas. Bergen says rain. Is that now? Rain. Need to give me a little bit more than that. Now? Is it falling? Yes. Is it falling? Yes, it is. I can see it just. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are paying attention and look at your screens closely, you shall see rain has started to fall, and this is when it's going to get interesting. Primarily on the basis that when is the right time to pit for inters? Now, the game will say when DRS has been disabled. That generally is the cut-over point. If there's a safety car now, I think they will all dive into the pits, because you would be mad not to. But right now, the cars look okay. Nobody's really having any major moments that we need to kind of worry about. But they're all going to be looking at each other to determine who's going to go in first. Because if you go in right now, I think you're going to be as slow as a day in the jail. You're not going to get that place back. Calvin is absolutely fine. He's up into 4th place. Loppy's the fastest man. So Loppy, is he the first one that's going to go and do it? I said he'd be as slow as a day in the jail. He is. He's gone on to the intermediate tyre at the moment. So he's gambling that now is exactly the right time. I'm not quite sure I'm in agreement, if I'm honest. However, been proven wrong before, could be proven wrong again. Loppy drops to 17th, and that's going to be his challenge. Doris gets a 5-second penalty for speed in the pit lane. This is going to be Loppy's challenge, though. It's going to be how quickly does he gain. So if we just change the gap to the leader, 30.7 seconds. 30.7 seconds to Toby right now. Keep an eye on that gap, 17th place. Man who has a penalty next to him now, though, however. Is not exactly what he needed. DRS is disabled. There is the cue. This is when I expect the drivers to come in. And on the basis that they will be struggling, Ryan's now 2 seconds behind Toby. And again, the track surface is getting that little bit slicker. You can see the light reflection on it. People are just struggling that little bit to slow down. Right now, the gap's beginning to be spread. Loppy 31.7 now, so he's dropped a second. Crucially for him. So if Toby comes in now, he's going to lose, 28, 27 seconds. Sociopath's almost pushing Ryan along there, and he's got Calvin right behind him just now as well. Calvin right on the back of that Alfa Romeo. Toby is coming into the pit lane. Yes, he does. Ryan's coming in as well. Sociopath and Calvin. I thought Calvin might have stayed out slightly. Let's see if Gatian stays out. No, he doesn't. Fanning. Eddie Dust does stay out, though, so there's an interesting one. Monster's coming in. Mark, the championship leader, staying out. Single track coming in. Call Me the Brave is coming in. Hornet's coming in. But there we have it, folks. A few people deciding to try and go slightly differently. Ryan coming out is in fourth at the moment, and he comes out right in front of that little chain of Alfa Romeo and the Red Bull. There you have it. And here's the interesting approaches that are being taken here. Eddie Dust on the mediums, he had that spin. So again, remember, look at Loppy! Loppy, remember he pitted! He's in fifth! So he's managed to jump. He was about sixth or seventh, maybe fifth actually, just before the pit stops. I said watch his set steps. I didn't actually pick up on that. He was absolutely flying. The DRS got disabled halfway round the previous lap, so lap 12. He got half a lap where he was absolutely flying. He obviously came out slightly behind. He's got much more grip on those intermediate tyres. Ryan's just had a bit of contact with the wall there. Has that damaged the Haas in any way? Doesn't look like any visual damage to the Haas, but it might be struggling a little bit here. Let's have a look at Calvin. Mark and Co have to come in. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt at all that the Inters are the tyre to go on. Let's just jump to Mark. Let's see what he is going. Oh, that McLaren will be. Oh, and he absolutely sort of struck the wall there slightly. Eddie Dust, yeah, there's a lap overdue, boys. Should have been in the previous lap. 30 seconds is what it's going to be. This is going to drop Mark down to around about 13th, 14th. It's going to drop him behind people that he was already ahead of at the time. So the tactical action has not worked. Toby's developed a 6-second lead. Has Ryan got some unvisual damage that we just haven't seen there? Is he just not as confident in getting those tyres up to speed at the moment? A lot of people will be thinking, oh, he wants past. He wants to get past people and go, come on, let's get this done. But right now, that is the challenge that we have. So Mark and Eddie Dust pit. Banstorp continues his lead. Ryan second, Loppy third, Sociopath fourth, Calvin fifth. Where is Mark going to come out? It's going to be nowhere near the top 10. It was a lap too late. It was a gamble. It was worth it. But interestingly enough, talking about a gamble, Sociopath's now beginning to have a bit of a gamble on Floppy Loppy at the moment. Let's just have a look from the rear of the Alpine. 5.7 seconds, the gap between Toby and Ryan. Further second back to Loppy. Remember, no DRS, so any overtakes are going to have to be through your own skill. Or some overtakes might be through your own lack of skill, depending on what happens in the end result. Let's just listen to Loppy as we come through the next few corners. Early upshifts coming over the Anderson Bridge, but then as he came out of the hairpin there, not as early upshifts. Sociopath's beginning to wag his tail. But this little trio, this little gaggle of cars, Loppy, Sociopath and Calvin, are there. Calvin needs to just watch. Remember, at the moment, he's gaining a number of points on Mark at the moment, so he is gaining those points with his championship compadre currently outside of the points. Fifth place will get you 10 World Championship points. So that would close the gap to Mark to 13 points, so he doesn't have to take any silly errors. He just needs to keep it consistent and not make any silly moves here. The issue that he's got, Gatian's now beginning to close them. That's also going to allow the likes of Fanning and Monster to close in as well. So let's just look on the rear. So Ryan's begun to just pull that gap. He's stabilised it in second place at the moment. Loppy there. Sociopath and Calvin. Who blinks first? Calvin's going to go round the outside of Sociopath. Let's see if he can make this move work coming out through the Raffles Boulevard. He's going to try and go down the inside. Oh, Sociopath had to almost get out, but Sociopath's going to have the inside line as they come now down into the next corner. Calvin's going to try and hang it out round the outside. He's going to watch. I think Sociopath has had a moment coming out. Great move from Calvin coming round the outside there. Puts him into 4th place. 12 points. That would bring the gap down to 11 points. Currently, Sociopath was doing well, but he just maybe compromised himself slightly, but he'll recoup himself. Gatian's now come right up into this challenge as well. Loppy in 3rd, quite happily at the moment. Let's just check further down the field. There's Fanning. He's slowly gaining on it. The car's in front. Monster there in 8th. Good race for him so far. Morgan's having a good race. Martin up into 10th. Call Me the Brave in 11th. Eddie Dustin 12th. Thomas Torrent 13th. Mark 4th. Alex in 15th. Remember, after Alex's challenges and tribulations, still there in 15th place. Not far behind at all. But as I keep saying, very difficult to overtake. One of the McLarens ran really wide there. Oh, was that a clunk off the wall? Hopefully not. Alright, let's see where we are. Look at the track now, very much a glistening surface right now. There is Monster in the other McLaren currently. Oh, he had an issue. He had an issue there in qualifying and wrecked the car. He doesn't want to do it in the race. But it's this gaggle of Loppy, Cal and Sociopath. Gatian's there. Fanning's near enough in the party as well. And Monster's tantalisingly there. And Morgan can see it as well. They're only 5 seconds behind, but bear in mind that they're going to be holding each other up here. Calvin is eager. Absolutely eager. Banstorp's left the session. Oh no, our race leader has had a connection issue. He's left the session right now. His car will be in AI mode. This is going to absolutely severely hamper him. The gap's stabilising, 9.3 seconds. Let's just quickly try and invite Toby back in. New invite is on its way, Toby. Fingers crossed you get back in. Otherwise, but your AI car's doing superb. Right now, there you go, Toby's back in. Excellent, excellent. That's just what we wanted to see. We wanted to see all the good work be undone. Ryan will be thinking, he's back in. But, currently there we are. Toby, in the lead. Should be back in his car. Not yet, because he's still a little bit transparent. But as soon as he's back, we'll see that car turn a solid colour. Probably not as much of a disadvantage in AI mode in the wet compared to in the dry. I think in the dry you would be very, very troublesome. Toby's still not back in by the looks of things. No, he's still transparent, so we'll just need to keep an eye on that. Our race leader, though, that gap is coming down. I think he's back in now. Yes, he is. Look, it's no transparency anymore in that Mercedes. Race leader. Alex and Thomas Hornet in the pits at the moment, but Ryan is gaining. He's still about a second difference, but now let's just see. I mean, Fanning's going to have a look up the inside of Gatian. Had a little think about it, did the Liverpool lane. Man from Liverpool. But no, Gatian positioned his car well. And it is. All you see is Ryan at the front end of this. With about 0.7 of a second, Thomas can see the cars in front and be thinking to himself, right, what do I want to do? How do I want to do this? But as I've said many times, it's difficult to overtake here. It isn't easy. But remember, to finish first you have to finish. It's a well-known saying in F1. Yes, you could be absolutely brilliant, but if you lose it on that final lap, no points. None at all. So you got to keep it there. 17 laps out of 31. Birkin makes a very valid point. You reckon it's wet tyres instead, and nobody has pitted onto the wet tyres. I mean, it does. I 100% agree with you. It looks really challenging now. I mean, the amount of spray that's being kicked up. Problem is, with a lot of this. You pit, you're going to lose 29 seconds. Are you fundamentally going to gain that back? Probably not. Even if you were to gain it back, are you going to make up the places that you'll have lost? Possibly not. That is the challenge here. Right now, it's just a train. Ultimately, no real positions are changing. To their credit, all the drivers keeping it clean. Nobody's really had any moments. Maybe a couple of things which we looked at in the stewards room, but nothing fundamentally. Nobody has binned it. Nobody's made any moves that potentially would be debatable that we've seen on stream. But I think it could be wets before the end of the race, yes. But right now, I don't think anyone's going to do it. I mean, could Toby pit for wets? I mean, he's 9 seconds. Again, he would drop down to probably 13th. It's not worth it for him. But again, if you were in the mix here, if you were maybe Sociopath or Gatian, would you maybe go for a gamble of those wet compound tyres? Possibly. Or would you think, actually, I'm going to hold out because there might be a safety car? Talking of holding out, Calvin's holding out on Sociopath. Oh, Sociopath's just giving him a little bit of a nudge to the championship second place man, but it didn't have any impact there, thankfully. We didn't want a Michael Schumacher moment again coming down into that corner in the Mercedes. Oh, yellow flag in sector 2. What's that? Is that? Oh no, is that Morgan? Morgan's round. He's lost his front wing, and we've a safety car, folks. And here we go. This is where people are going to decide if the wets are the way to go. Toby decides no. Is Ryan going to put a set of wets on? He's thinking about it. He says no, not doing that. Loppy and Calvin say no as well. Sociopath says no. Gatian and Fanning say no. Monster says no. Nobody's saying yes to the wets. Eddie Dust isn't. The championship leader is, though. He is chanting. He's got nothing to lose, and this is what I'm saying. You take the gamble that potentially this could work. Loppy's just got a penalty. Oh, it's another set of inters for the McLaren man and the championship leader, so he's gambling on a new set of inters. Morgan's in, he'll get a new front wing. Womax is also going in. Is anyone going on to the wets? Yes, Womax has gone on to the wets. So he's gone on to the full wets. Morgan is new front wing and inters. Doris Day, well, he's got a 5-second penalty to serve, so he's going to be there for a while. But interestingly, Womax is the man to look at. Doris Day puts on the intermediates. Dumbest Hornet is going round at the moment. But this man here, the Womax, is on the wets. Just going to let that sink in slightly. Because he could be the man that either makes a genius call, or he's going to end up very quickly at the back. Let's just run on board and remember they're going under the Delta and the safety car at the moment, so it's not necessarily reflective. But again, based upon where they are, I'm surprised slightly that Mark didn't consider the wets. Possibly. I think we have to bear it in mind though, that ultimately, yes, he wasn't in the points, but he thinks he could get points. He will know that Calvin is in 4th, so he knows that Calvin is gaining 12 points on him, so that brings his gap down from 23 to 11. So maybe he thinks, my new fresh inters, but look at the rain. Look at the rain. That's the key. It's raining cats and dogs, it's raining fishy lions is what it is. In Singapore, folks, we've got 12 laps, 8:05 in the UK. If you're just joining in, welcome. We started at 7. Where have you been? Tier 1 starts in 40 minutes time, 39 minutes time, with Connor and Andrew. Let's just jump back to Singapore Airlines. Oh, Womax just bounced off the wall. Yeah, the wets might not be the best tyre to be on right now. Marcus pitted. What is he going on to? Is he going on to the wets? Has he listened to the Gav? Yes, I think he has. No, more inters and a wing. Oh, this is not going well for the championship leader. Rain meant to begin later in 10 to 15 minutes, says the Rotherham weather forecaster Boothie. It's alright, we'll get there eventually. But yeah, so ultimately Singapore Airlines were formed between the split of Singapore and Malaysian Airlines. 1968, they were called the Singapore Girls, the stewardesses. Singapore did expand rapidly in 1972. Added some Boeing 747s, the original jumbo jets. First two arrived in 1973. Singapore to Hong Kong to Taipei to Tokyo run. It was an all Boeing fleet. But then over the gradual base of time they flew to London. And they then flew to the likes of Jakarta, Bangkok, Hong Kong, as you would expect. We were using a mixture of 747s and 707s, and then they kind of just gradually expanded. Now, they did share a Concorde for flights between London and Singapore via Bahrain, so it was Golf Bravo Oscar Alpha Delta, painted in Singapore Airlines livery on the port side and British Airways livery on the starboard side for that. Although, to be fair, it was discontinued after 4 days because of the noise complaints. Didn't really last much, to be fair. But it was then reinstated bypassing Malaysian airspace. Then India decided they didn't want the boom, and so didn't allow it. So yeah, there was challenges. And ever since then, they have quickly developed, similar to the Emirates and Qatars of this world, for this 21st century. They are very much the launch client for the Airbus A380, the double-decker. It operated the type's inaugural revenue service on the 25th of October 2007, Singapore to Sydney, about 8 or 9 hours. Singapore Airlines is the second largest A380 operator after Emirates. And again, talking of Singapore and Malaysia and all of that, there wasn't a war or a battle to help Singapore gain independence. Malaysia democratically voted to throw out Singapore. I mean, there you go, right? So you're seeking independence, and you go, right, how do we want to do it? We'll hold an independence referendum. Nah, the rest of the country just voted to throw them out. There's other countries that may want to do similar. Interestingly, again, it's a very open society, but actually there are certain topics that are out of bounds for discussion in public. Criticism of the government is one such topic. You'll land in trouble if you want to do that. 3,000 kilometres of road in Singapore, which stretched from end to end, would take you from Singapore to Hong Kong. And the lowest temperature ever recorded in Singapore was 19 degrees Celsius on the 31st of January 1934. That's 19 degrees Celsius. That's the lowest ever temperature. I mean, it doesn't even get to 19 degrees Celsius in Scotland in the summer. Lucky so-and-sos. Signature Singapore Sling, the drivers just went through that. It contains gin, Cointreau, cherry brandy, Dom Benedictine, pineapple juice, grenadine, Angostura bitters, and lime. It was served for the first time in the Long Bar in the Raffles Hotel in the year 1915. You can get ice cream, Singapore Sling ice cream, if you go on Singapore Airlines. And you can get it in other places as well. Yes, Jay, it is absolutely bloody freezing right now. Let's see. So we've got 10 laps left. We've had 2 safety cars. The rain is chucking it down. Absolutely chucking it down. Wimax is in 16th. He's on the wets. Let's just bring you the tyres. There you go. Monster, Dumbest Hornet, Wimax, Mark and Doris on the wets. Let's just go back to the start. Let's see what Toby does. When does he go? And who's on the right tyres? Ryan runs out a little bit wide. He's going to look. Oh, he's got a better run. Toby got off the throttle. He had to get off the throttle. Ryan's going to look to make a move into turn 1, and this could be for the race lead. Ryan breaks that a little bit earlier, but he's going to look to have the better line. Toby's run really deep into turn 1 and 2. Oh, did he keep the position by running wide? That's going to be an open question. I think he was ahead in the braking zone, but Ryan is all over the back of him. Just seemed to have had a better restart. Toby got in the throttle maybe a little bit too quickly there. Fanning's got a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. Loppy is there. Loppy's got to watch. He's going to try and make the move on the inside of Ryan. He had to really get out of that. And Ryan was possibly caught unawares there. But all of a sudden, Ryan is consumed because Calvin's there as well. Dumbest Hornet is retired. It's got to be another safety car, surely. We got another safety car because the Alfa Romeo is out. No, we do not. Not at the moment, anyway. There it is. So see, as soon as I said not at the moment, the safety car has come out. Now, I'm going to throw something else into the mix here, ladies and gentlemen. It's a bit wet. And will the front runners pit for wet tyres? Because remember, the first wet runners is Monster in 12th. It's getting wetter, but remember, Weatherman Boothie said that the rain would lighten, in which case the Inters would be the right tyre to be on. But right now, who knows what the right tyre to be on is? Simple matter of fact. If you like a good time, well, if you don't like a good time, caning is still a legal form of punishment in Singapore. Who's going to be caned after this race? Who has made daft decisions? Who could win the race through good decisions? So far, no one. Oh, no, Sociopath is coming into the pits. Gatian's staying out. Martin is staying out. Call Me the Brave is staying out. So is Alex. So is Stu. Obviously, the wets aren't going to go in. But Sociopath goes in. Let's see what tyres he puts on. So he has decided he is staying out. Wet compound tyres for the Sociopath. Vanstorp currently in the lead. 7th of November is officially celebrated as National Tree Planting Day in Singapore. Now, there are many days of celebration in Singapore. Planting trees is one of them. Fanning has left the session. Why? Fanning is Whoa, where's Fanning gone? Fanning's out. He's left the session. Not sure why. I'm sure we'll find out. But National Tree Planting Day, when everyone from diplomats to the common man plants trees. Some people even adopt trees as birthday or wedding presents. Yeah. But if you thought that was weird, 7th of November, wait till you get to the 19th of November. That's World Toilet Day. I mean, they're passionate about toilets in Singapore. 2001, the World Toilet Organization came into being, but there is a law against not flushing the toilet after using it in Singapore. So if you use the toilet, you have to flush it. 150 Singaporean dollars if you get caught is the fine. Why wouldn't you? And contrary to popular belief, Singapore is actually made up of 63 islands, comprising of those such as Sentosa Island, Paulo Ubin Sisters Island and St John's Island, amongst others. The national anthem is printed off the back of a Singaporean $1,000 note written in microtext. So if you were listening to, was it Tier 2 last week? I sang Le Marseillaise. I'm not singing the Singaporean national anthem tonight. That's all I can tell you. And Tintin. Now, Tintin in Belgium, Brussels Airlines have planes painted after Tintin because they've adopted Tintin. But actually, only of the 5 official Tintin shops in the world, one of them is in Singapore. The remaining 4 are in Japan and Europe. Kinda says it all if I'm being perfectly honest. But there you go. What else? What else? Maximum limit to how high buildings in Singapore can be built, 280 metres. And the tallest building in Singapore is Tanjong Pagar Centre. 2016 it got opened. And now, I say 280 metres, well it was 290. They got special permission to exceed the 280 metres, so they gave it an extra 10 metres of length. No idea why. Clearly it was that important. So yeah, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you get a phone call from a number starting +65, it's from Singapore. And if you don't, you can just disregard everything that I've actually said to you. So there we are. Very much a tropical rainforest to Singapore. Right, I'm very quiet in the YouTube chat right now. Should have gave it more girth. Yes, that is what I was thinking. Boothie, you told me it was going to get lighter. I'm not seeing it. It's raining hard right now. We shall see though. We shall see what happens. 7 laps to go, folks. Don't worry, we'll finish before midnight. Boothie says it's getting lighter. I'm glad you see that or are being told that, because I am not seeing that. But we shall see. Safety car should be in at the end of this lap, hopefully. Eddie Dust, he had a good start to the race, but his second half of his race hasn't really come up to much. He's down at the back, poor soul. Van Storp just coming onto Raffles Avenue right now. Loppy in second. Let's just have a look at penalties. Not as many as I might have thought there might have been. 5 seconds for Loppy, 3 seconds for Alex. Alex has done really well to get back up into 8th, let's put it that way, right? Up 10 places since the start. There's the biggest winners, Call Me the Brave, up 12. Biggest losers, Sociopath and Eddie Dust at 12. Jay is disagreeing with Boothie. The two Rotherham boys can go and fight it out in the park after. One says lighter, one says heavier. Safety car is not coming in, which means we have another lap of safety car chat. There's only so much chat one man can bring through safety cars, let's put it that way. However, it is Monday night, and let me just bring you some news. It is Derby County 0, West Ham 1 in the FA Cup. Bowen has scored in the 10th minute. If you are a Villarreal or Rayo Vallecano supporter, it's 0-0 in the Spanish La Liga. Udinese and Verona are currently drawing 1 apiece. And in the Portuguese Primeira Liga, Vitória 0, GD Chaves 0. But if you are a Chelsea fan, they are close to agreeing a bid to bring Fernandes for £105 million. Enzo Fernandes, currently. FA Cup 5th round draw, just for those that are curious. Southampton versus Luton or Grimsby, Leicester versus Blackburn or Birmingham, Stoke versus Brighton, Wrexham or Sheffield United versus Tottenham. You could see Ryan Reynolds versus Tottenham, Fulham or Sunderland versus Leeds. Ooh, that could be a North East thing. Bristol City versus Manchester City, Manchester United versus Derby or West Ham, Ipswich or Burnley versus Sheffield Wednesday or Fleetwood. There we go. Ultimately, safety car still not in, but there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. More strikes if you're in the UK. You've got that to look forward to over the next few weeks to months. Ava Green is in the news. She played Vesper Lint in Casino Royale, the rebooted James Bond film in 2006. She fell deeply in love with the film. She was due to star in before the project collapsed. Safety cars in this lap. We'll have to do much more of this inane chat. But here we go. The Mother of Pearl Cloud. If you want to know about the Mother of Pearl Cloud, do Google it. Nacreous Cloud has been spotted in Scotland by sky gazers. Is known to be a rare Mother of Pearl Cloud. Shimmering colours brightened up the sky on Sunday evening and Monday morning. Nacra means Mother of Pearl. There you go, folks. I hope still a little bit more to go. Yeah, not much else in the news, to be perfectly honest. Well, actually, unfortunately, I can tell you now, Barrett Strong, the Motown artist who sang or collaborated on classic hits such as I Heard It Through the Grapevine and Papa Was a Rolling Stone, has died at the age of 81, so our thoughts are with his family. Right, here we go. Doris is retired from the session. Doris is gone. When's Toby going to go, though? That's more the interesting question. He's gone again at the same place that he went before, but he's managed to keep the grip this time. Ryan down into fourth, Loppy second, and Calvin third. Let's just have a look. Calvin was having a look at Loppy there. Was there a little bit of contact? Calvin's lost part of his front wing. You can see it there. The right-hand side end plate has gone on the Red Bull. That is going to absolutely hurt him over the next few laps. 5 laps still to go here. That could really, really hurt him. Now remember, the first of the wet tyre runners is Monster on the tyres. Let's just have a quick wee look. No, got fastest laps tyres. There we go. Monster and Mark, the two McLarens on the wet compound tyre, and they're absolutely all over the back of Morgan right now. Conway the Brave is there as well. Alex in 8th place. Mark is up into 10th. Got past his teammate. Martin is in 6th place. Gatian in 5th. Ryan's still looking. There is Calvin. Toby is just going to look to bad in the run to the Singapore Sling. Ryan will be watching the back of that Red Bull. We've got a yellow flag. Who have we got a yellow flag for? Morgan's had a moment just before, turn number 10. And there he is at the moment. That is not happening. Ryan is just falling into the clutches